What's up, y'all?
What's up?
It is time again for another Concession Tapes.
Dun dun dun.
My name is Ricardo,
My name is Gustavo.
and today we are reviewing. What are we doing? We're covering. Today we're covering the movie
Everything,
Everything.
everywhere, all at once.
Everywhere, All at Once. Sorry, let me do that again because I was moving a lot. Today we're going to be covering the movie Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, directed by the Daniels.
The Daniels.
And this movie just won everything at the Oscars.
Yeah.
It swept the entire
It's
competition.
up the fuck.
And it really, I don't know. I'm really happy about it because I really like this movie. How did you feel about this movie?
You know, the first time I watched this movie was when it came out. Like
Okay.
maybe a month after it came out. It was still in theaters, but it was like towards the end of the run, I think. And that day I had already gone to the theaters twice. I watched Cha Cha Real Smooth in the Morning with You, which was the first time I watched that movie as well. And then, did Cha Cha Real Smooth get nominated for anything?
Oh, I don't think so.
Unbelievable!
What a travesty.
Unbelievable. This is why I didn't watch the Oscars this year, and I refuse to watch them because I can't believe it didn't get nominated for anything. Wow, sorry. That kind
Hold on, we don't know yet. We're just speaking out of our ass right here.
we're just speaking.
I watched the recap of the Oscar.
Yeah, I didn't even watch that. No, the Oscars, man. It's unbelievable. Anything at all? Nothing.
Wow.
I'm looking at it right now. Wow, unbelievable. I don't know what else to think about the Oscars if you don't nominate this film for anything, not even for best original screenplay or anything like that. That's crazy.
Mm-mm.
That's just on a different
Yeah.
level right there. Wow. Anyways, that put me in a bad mood, man.
I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry that this happened.
Anyways, but I watched Cha Cha Real Smooth in the morning with you, and then in the afternoon I watched Buzz Lightyear with my nephew and my mom, and then I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once at night with Vanessa, my girlfriend. And I was so overwhelmed, and I took it as like I had just watched two films all day. I've been literally looking at a screen for 4 hours, 5 hours. I'm like, oh my God, I got no break. And I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is like literally everything everywhere all at once. Like it's so mind blowing. I'm just like, so I was like, oh my God. Like I was such in a funk when I was watching that film. I was like, Jesus, like I'm gonna need to watch this again. So then I rewatched it to do with the podcast. And I think not as much because I didn't watch all those other movies, but I did feel the same way. It's a lot, man.
It's a lot, yeah.
It's a fucking lot. And though I do like it, it's a very well made film. Like I think I don't necessarily, I don't want to say dread watching it because it puts it in a negative connotation, but it's hard to watch. It's hard for me to be like, oh, I want to watch this movie again because it like overwhelms me. Like
what is a lot for you?
Maybe it's like a sensory thing. You know what I mean? Like when you get overwhelmed with like all the lights and all there's so many colors, so many shit that's going on, so many things you have to follow. Like even like cutscenes, like when she's going through her whole life, there's like a bajillion lives she's going through. So it's just like it's like my brain can't even think of what's going on, and it's just like it drains me. It's one of those. I don't think I've ever
really.
I've never felt that way with a movie, but it does drain me. It's a good movie, and I don't want to put it in a bad light because I just want all these Oscars, and it's amazing. Everything is so well done, but just the story itself, it's just a lot.
Yeah,
and like
you're the second person this week that has told me that.
Was the other one Kim?
No.
Okay.
No, Kim and I love this movie.
Okay.
Kim and I don't think this movie is at all, a lot by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
There was somebody at the university, they told me, I was like, oh, did you watch the Oscars? And they were like, yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once one. I was like, yeah, how did you feel about that movie? She was like, I didn't like it. It was a lot. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it. I liked it. I didn't love it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So I did like it. I thought it was a good movie. It's hard not to because it's just everything again so well done. You're like in awe of everything that's just going on. Like even the way just they think about everything. It's like, oh my God. Like even it takes years to make a movie. Like I wonder how long it would have taken to make this movie.
Yeah.
Just to think about everything that you're gonna put in there. It's like, whoa. Like
That's why you need 2 directors.
that's why they need. That's why they need the Daniels, and then the Russos.
Yeah.
Did you check if they were producers?
I don't think it was the Russos, bro. I think they directed it. I think they produced it.
I think they maybe the Russos were executive producers then.
Let me see.
I'm sure I saw them on there, but maybe I'm tripping. Regardless, though, I did like the film. I thought it was nice, but it is like it was a lot for me.
Oh yeah, you're right. The Russos were a part of it.
Executive producers.
I don't know. It just comes up as producers.
Okay. Anyways, but it was a lot for me. It's like it overwhelms me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It does tire me out. I'm just like, oh my god. Like I feel like sluggish at the end of watching that movie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't think it was a lot. Like it was a lot, but like in a sense of like,
Yeah, but it didn't affect your mood or anything like that.
huh?
It didn't affect your mood or it didn't affect like your lifestyle,
No,
like your
and
energy.
it didn't affect like my experience of watching the movie because that's what the point was of the movie, right? Of it being like an overload of everything, but like you don't have to pay attention to everything. You know what I mean? Like not everything is demanding your attention. And so like to me it was just more like, okay, like everything is happening, but like who cares? You know, who cares? Like you're supposed to feel kind of like what she's feeling, right?
Yeah.
Of like this overload of information and worlds and different characters and possibilities and all this other stuff. And so you're supposed to be feeling that with her, right? And so like I thought it was fucking brilliantly done. Like I thought it was
No, I think
I thought it was great, and I don't think it was too much to the point where like you break, you know? Like I think it's just like it's a lot, but like I think like in a good way. Like I think like it's just supposed to reflect how she's feeling. And I love that part.
No, I
of
think
it.
that's true, and I think that's true. But
Because imagine if you had got on the other sense, right? If you just watching her go through it, and all you see is her going like,
no,
you know, like that wouldn't be a good movie at all.
no, I know, I get what you're saying, and like I think again, like that's why I say like, I don't want to put it in a negative connotation because it's a very well done movie. Like what it's trying to do, it did.
Yeah.
But I also like it's like that thing where like they always say with like extroverts and introverts. Like when introverts go to a party, they need to come home to re-energize. You ever heard that before? Like they need to come home and be by themselves for like a month to be able to get energy again, to be able to go out again and like, you know, interact with people. But extroverts are opposite. Like they have to go out, and when they go out in a party or something like that, they'll gain their energy,
Yeah.
and then when they come back home, they're feeling good. But they get drained by being by themselves, so they go out to re-energize. I feel like that's the best way I could put it with this movie. Like this movie drains me. Like it like, takes my energy, like just to be able to produce all what's going on. And like it's not that it's impossible to pay attention to everything. It's not that I'm trying to pay attention to everything, but it's overloading you with everything, and it's just like, oh my god, it's just like there's so much going. Like even thinking about it right now, like in my mood, I feel tired. I was like, I don't know why. It's a good movie, and like of course it won all these fucking Oscars, and I don't even think it was close to any of the other. I don't even know what other things were nominated. Do you know?
The Ishi
Besides The Whale.
Banshees.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that.
The Spielberg movie.
That was a Spielberg movie
Yeah, about his life. I forgot
about
what
his
it is.
life.
Yeah.
Did he direct it?
Yeah.
no
Damn. Whoa, that's it. I forgot.
I didn't watch the Oscars. I didn't even watch the recap of them.
So basically, they won everything, and then
Yeah, they did win
The
everything.
Well won Best Actor.
Yeah, no, they won Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Supporting Actress.
Best Picture, Best
Yeah,
Screenplay.
no, sorry, I meant
Best
was like the
Editing.
acting.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But like, no, they won.
No, I know they won
everything
Best
that
Picture and they won Best probably Original Screenplay
Yeah.
and Best. I don't know what else.
Best Editing, I think.
Best Editing, Best Sound. They
Yeah.
win Sound.
I don't know if sound, but
They win Costumes.
No, they did not win. They
won?
did not win costumes. I think they were nominated, but they didn't win it.
How do you not win that?
I think they lost 2.
That's kind of.
They were nominated for 7. They won 5. That's fucking crazy.
Are you sure? Didn't they win? Oh, they were not. Oh, that is true. I thought they won 7, but no, that is true. They're no.
Best Picture. So the ones that were nominated for Best Pictures, Best Picture, not pictures. For Best Picture was Everything Everywhere All at Once, winner. All Quiet on the Western Front.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah,
That Raven.
I did see that on Netflix. I haven't seen it, but like I saw that poster.
Avatar: The Way of the Water. The Banshees of Inisherin. The one
This
with Colin
this seemed like
Farrell.
not a very good year for Oscars, to be honest.
Elvis, The Fabled Man. That's what the
One best
Spielberg movie
costumes.
was.
Oh, I see.
Tar,
Tar.
Top Gun Maverick, yeah,
Oh, Top Gun.
with
Remember
Kate
was.
Blanchett. Tar. Triangle of Sadness, which I wanna watch, and Women Talking.
Haven't heard of those last two.
Yeah, it wasn't a very strong year, honestly.
It didn't seem like there was, to be
You know what
honest.
should have been there?
Touch out real smooth.
Yeah.
It should have, right? I'm not
Yeah.
tripping, right? I think it should have been there. Maybe not nominated for best actor or actress or anything like that, but definitely like best original screenplay and best movie of the year. You don't think that would have been it? Ugh. Not that they should have won, but because Everything Everywhere All at Once is such a unique movie
Yeah.
that even though I was like, they should have won a best original, but then I was like, oh well, Everything Everywhere All at Once obviously was gonna win that, and best picture obviously as well, but I think it should have just been nominated, right?
Yeah. So they lost an original score and an original song.
Who won that?
I couldn't even tell you what songs they
Well, I mean
played.
that makes sense, but she didn't even been nominated either.
They lost costume design to Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
They won that. Jesus, man.
Look, they won everything.
They won pretty much everything.
They won pretty
yeah.
much everything.
And so
That's fine.
I do think that the movie is deserving because I really like it is a very unique movie.
Oh yeah,
I have never seen a movie quite like this.
Nope.
It's funny, it's heartbreaking, it's reflective, it's everything. It's everything that you kind of want a movie to be, honestly. Like when you heard the first time about the everything bagel, when she was just like, I put everything on a bagel. Like, didn't you just like want to fucking like, are you fucking serious? Like, really?
It's the thing is like it's so well done, but it's hard because it is kind of silly. you know? And that's super silly about it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay.
Like,
I'm
it's
checking
not
it
like
out.
a super serious movie,
No, it's not. It
but it
doesn't-
has serious subjects.
It does. No, I completely agree, and it's in a way sometimes, but it can be hard to follow in some.
In
some
what
ways.
sense?
Well, like the storylines, like some storylines are very clear cut. They're different. Like you can tell. Like when she's the badass and she's like the top notch actress and she does all these roles, and that's the time that she doesn't have the daughter in. Because she never ended up marrying the guy.
Yeah.
But for example, like in the end, remember when the IRS comes to her and then she smashes the window and then she gives her another chance and the guy's like, I just talked to her.
Yeah.
Raymond is like, I just talked to her.
Uh-huh.
That timeline is so similar to the real timeline.
That is the same timeline.
But isn't the same timeline? See, this is where I was confused. Remember when she dies? When we think she dies? And then that's when the everything everywhere starts or whatever?
Yeah.
What timeline is
That
that? then?
was confusing.
You see what I'm
That was
saying?
but I don't think she was dead.
No, she didn't die. At the end, we see that she's alive in that timeline.
Oh, no, she wasn't dead. That was a part of the movie that she was in. Remember? It's at the end, produced by the Daniels or whatever. And then it cuts back and she's sitting in the theater.
Oh, so that time. Oh, see, that's where it's. Yeah, you're right.
So
Oh,
in
my
that
God.
one, she was just an actress.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one was a little hard. But like I don't think
But you know what I'm
any of the other ones were hard.
No, the other ones were fine. I just like I guess that's where I meant like it was just a little confusing.
Yeah.
But again, it's just it throws a lot of stuff. It's a good movie. I don't want to say it's a bad movie like by any means. It's not.
I feel
obviously.
attacked right now.
And I could see that every time I say that about your movies. No, it's a very good movie, and like obviously it won 5 Oscars. You said right? It won it swept, like not even close. And I don't think there was like a movie even close to it.
No, I don't think so.
You know what I mean?
Just like naming off the list, I don't think any of
And like
them had a
I mean
chance.
I believe that the only reason they probably didn't win Best Actor. I mean, obviously
They had no best actor.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like the only reason I didn't was because there wasn't anybody that
No.
covered that role.
Yeah. Everybody was just supporting besides
Yeah.
the actress.
Yeah, and it is kind of weird though. Like, I mean, even the one that won Best Actor, Brendan Fraser, it's a very traditional like
Yeah.
role that Hollywood would
Uh-huh.
give the Oscar to.
Yeah.
So made total sense.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's weird. Like sometimes I wonder, like, what do you consider supporting and what do you consider lead? Because I've seen movies like with like less time of like Raymond,
Uh-huh.
and you know how he was in there a lot, like
Yeah.
most of the movie,
Yeah.
but he didn't get best. He wasn't a lead. He was supporting,
No.
which is
No, 'cause
weird.
I
So
guess
like,
you're
what?
following her story.
But I feel like there's movies that have less of a certain lead, and they consider them a lead.
Like what?
Well, I can't remember, but I know I've
No,
seen.
do it now.
No, right now. Well, let me see something real quick. What did you like about it? While I looked this up.
I liked that the fact that they had a lot of like funny moments, it had a lot of sad moments, it had a lot of like tender moments. It was just like filled with emotion in so many different ways.
Okay, I found it. Sorry, Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs was a leading actor in there, but I think he was only really in the movie 20 minutes.
Oh, see, yeah, I wouldn't consider him a lead in that one.
But that's what I'm saying. So what do you consider a lead and what do you not consider a lead?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Like, is it a time thing? Is it like what? Because in that movie, he was amazing and he won Best Actor for
Yeah.
having 20 minutes in the film. Like, or, yeah, I think it's like 20 minutes in the
Was
film.
supporting actor and actress a thing back then, though?
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it's always been a thing. But
think so?
I think so. But again, it's just like, well, because he kind of is. He is the lead. He's like the lead male. But so is Raymond. He's the lead male, even though he's a supporting character. So I don't understand. Like, what do you categorize as being a lead, and when do you categorize as being a supporting?
Yeah.
You know, like obviously a lead is very clear cut, like the protagonist of the movie. But you know, when somebody's a supporting actor and is in the movie basically the entire time, is he not also a lead, even though the story doesn't necessarily follow him?
Yeah.
You know, and I understand, like even in Silence of the Lambs, like Anthony Hopkins' role
It's important,
is very important.
but it's not like it's about Jodie Foster.
It is about Jodie Foster, but she was dependent on him, so maybe that's what they categorize. Like, oh, he's a lead because
Yeah, no, I
she's
wouldn't
trying to like.
categorize that as.
Well, that's what
as
I'm
a
saying.
leading
So it's like,
actor.
what do you categorize in the Oscar? I mean,
Yeah.
you've seen Silence of the Lambs. He's barely in there.
Yeah, he's barely in there. Like I wouldn't categorize that as a supporting role. I mean,
Okay.
as a leading role. As a leading role, I would categorize.
Okay.
It as
Oh no.
supporting.
Again, but now you see what I mean by the confusion of like,
Yeah.
okay, well, how is Raymond now when he's in the movie the entire time? And again,
Yeah.
I understand like he is a supporting actor or he is a supporting character in that in her story.
Yeah.
But that's still different from being the lead, the male lead, right? Versus being I guess just a supporting.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. That's why I was like, I don't know. It's strange, and they didn't have a lead, and it's cool. You don't have to have a lead all the time, a male lead. But then I think about Silence of the Lambs, and I was like, well, how did he get it? If
Yeah, that's an odd.
you know what I
would
mean?
think, yeah.
And there's been other movies. I think I can't again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Silence of the Lambs was a movie that came to my head, and when you said like what, but I didn't want to say it because I was like maybe he was supporting. So I was like, you know what? I just look it up to make sure, and he was a lead. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but did you know by the way that Jackie Chan was supposed to have her role?
What do you mean?
Like Jackie Chan was offered the role first before Michelle Yao. What's her name?
It was gonna switch. It was gonna be a dad and a daughter.
I don't know what the story was gonna be, but apparently I saw an interview with her that she said that because she's really good friends with Jackie, and Jackie had like called her and said congratulations, like, but you know your boys came to me first, right? I was like, you bitch. So I don't know like what the story would have been, to be honest with you. I mean, it could have been a dad and a daughter.
I feel like it could have been replaced.
I think so too, but there's a lot of differences. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which also kind of makes sense because, like, well, I guess it doesn't. Never mind. I was gonna say it kind of makes sense because the way she was with her dad, but then it would have been a boy and a dad rather than
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Michelle Yao. Yao. I think it's Yao, right?
I'm not gonna get canceled.
Anyways, but then also like for me, like I think about Jamie Lee Curtis and how she won Best
supporting actress.
Can you tell me the other? I didn't watch the other roles. I don't know. But when I saw her performance, and like, I'm not gonna lie, I was just like, is that where?
Yeah,
You know what I
no,
mean?
I wouldn't. I
was
wouldn't.
like, I don't know.
With her, like, I agree with him. Let me see. Well, let me see what the actual nominees were. But
The other girl was also the daughter. Was also nominated.
And I thought she was really good. Maybe not like amazing, but like I thought she was pretty good.
Yeah. But she had more of a role, right, and more, I guess, character development than what Jamie Lee Curtis's character did. So
Hong Chau in The Whale.
Huh?
She was also
nominated
for supporting actress.
She's the one from the menu, right?
Yeah. Carrie Condon from The Banshees of Inisherin.
The
and
Venetian.
Angela, the Ishibi, and Angela Bassett from Black Panther.
Oh, see, that's where the controversy was. Because I did hear about Angela Bassett, but I didn't know if she was nominated for the lead.
I haven't seen that performance.
It was
Damn,
good.
I haven't seen any of the other performances.
No, I haven't seen any of them either. But I did watch Black Panther, obviously, and Angela Bassett. And I would even argue probably, yeah. I mean, her role was more geared towards what Oscar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just.
You think it was just because it was Black Panther?
I mean, they've always said that.
But also, like, this movie's not a very, like, Hollywood, like, what Hollywood wants from an Oscar-nominated movie either.
No, it's not. But that's what exactly. But like, it's like a one thing versus Marvel. You know, like very controlling of Hollywood right now.
Yeah.
Other actors and like, there's like a power dynamic there.
A what?
Power dynamic.
Power.
Gotta go back to gym, bro.
Gotta go back to the gym, bro.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm no one to say who should win an Oscar and who shouldn't win an Oscar. I have no idea what it takes to win an Oscar, and I have no idea what it takes to vote for somebody to win for an Oscar because I've never won an Oscar, not even fucking close, to be quite honest with you. But it is strange that things change so radically from one year to the next.
Yeah.
And even in their same movie, like the girl that, you know, not saying that she should have won or anything, but she had a bigger role.
She did, and I thought
in a more dynamic role. Like there was more change, and she played two characters, like or multiple characters.
Multiple characters.
But so did Jamie Lee Curtis, yes. But it was also
like,
the same thing, you know. So I just like I don't know what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Like, can I get some consistency here? Like, what do you? Because if you're going based off of just like how amazing this movie was, and like they should win all the Oscars, I'm fine, I guess. But when you're talking about raw performance and like character development, development, right? And her character, it's like when I work with Dr. Price and did a monologue. He's all like, one thing sometimes, like I see a monologue and again, I'm so focused on the detail of things that are going on. He's like, I liked it, but you start here, like here, and you're like, you end here. He's all like, well, if you start here, you gotta end here. Or if you start here, you gotta end here. Because sometimes I'll do that in monologues. It's like, you started here, like you're at the top of the world, and then your monologue, like, you didn't really get to where you needed to be. And those are things that I don't notice. And that's why sometimes it's so important to work with a coach. Because a coach will see your performance in a different way you see your performance. Or, you know, because you're not watching yourself. You think you feel what you feel, but sometimes you're in a funk, right? And so you don't understand how dynamic or how separate that was. And I feel like the daughter was more dynamic than Jamie Lee Curtis. I feel like Jamie Lee Curtis was like this the entire time. It's just like everything was well done. I mean,
like at the end, it was just like, oh, like a little spike.
Yeah, it was just like, you know, so cool, but like, I don't know, you know, that's weird to me. You know, even like, did you watch 12 Years a Slave? Lupita Nyong'o won Best Supporting Actress, and she was in that movie, I think, again for like 20 minutes or 15 minutes or something like that. It was like a very short performance. But so much happened in that performance. And it just like, that makes sense to me. You know, very geared towards the Oscars of like taking you from one dynamic to the next, like, you know, and then really believing that. And even though you're in the movie for such a short amount of time, like you make present, you know, your presence is there. Like that's your scene, that's your performance. And this just didn't feel that way, you know? So, and again, this is not taking anything from Jamie Lee Curtis. I've always said since the very beginning that for an actor to win an Oscar, it doesn't take the actor, it takes the writer. Because I always think that a well-written script or character is going to win you an Oscar. Because like the way I see actors is like most actors are up here. Most actors up there in Hollywood could play any role pretty much. Like when it really takes acting chops, right? And so you just have to find and be cast for the right role to be able, like Brendan Fraser. Like, was Brendan Fraser bad 30 years ago when he played George of the Jungle or when he was in the Mummy movies, right? No, but those are just the movies he got cast in. Just because he didn't cast him in, like, and this is what I talked about earlier, or we'll talk about in the next episode about Robert De Niro. Like, he wasn't the lead in Godfather, but he was. But his career ended up being like, oh shit, like one of the best actors, if not the best actor that's ever lived. And that's because of the roles he took, the roles they saw him for, the roles that whatever his career went, like that's what made him, who he is. And so that's all I'm saying. Like, it's not Jamie Lee Curtis' fault that the character was written that way, but it was written that way. So it's just like, just because she did it 100% well, doesn't mean that another actress would have done it at that same level. You know what I mean? But was there another performance that was more dynamic that the actress had more to deal with, And Angela Bassett, in a way, did in Black Panther because she lost a son. So I think just there was more growth there and there was more parallels to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by it. So that's what I mean. It's weird, but I have no gripes about the movie. Like, I think the movie as a whole should have won or did win best movie and all the other things that it did win. But the Oscars are weird. And this is not a knock on Everything Everywhere All at Once. This is a knock on the Oscars.
Yeah.
Like, no consistency. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But anyways, but back to the movie.
Yeah, good. Well, like, enough about the fucking Oscars.
sorry.
Yeah, no. I really like the movie. I want to hear from you though. Like, how, like, what did you not like about the movie, or
it's
what
not.
did you?
I get what you're saying. It's not that I didn't like the movie. I did like the movie. There's nothing that I really didn't like about the movie. I think that was confusing. The fact that
The timeline.
the timeline kind of was, but yes, it was her movie. And not thinking about it now, I was like, oh, that was made clear. But I think I got lost because of everything that's going around. You just kind of like, oh shit, what the fuck? And then you forget about it, and then she's brought back, and then you see that timeline again. So then in my head, I was like, oh, that's the original timeline, but it wasn't. The original timeline was an IRS thing. So I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. But it does, like, there's certain things that, like, and it made sense with this film, but also in my head, it's just like, God, that's so weird. Like, the fact that she could control everything that happened. And again, that's her character, but that's so strange when she just blew somebody's head off, and it was like a confetti. And then she brought dildos into it, and she did all these things with it. And, like, she could make the world anything she wanted to make. And I think it's hard to wrap around because that's not real life, And so me, and the movies I gravitate towards, like, raw! Like, obviously, even when I try to choose a movie that was different with Taxi Driver, it was this kind of, in a way, the same of movies that I would gravitate towards. So I did like a lot of things that they did. It's super creative. Like, that's one thing. Like, and I think we've talked about this before, but that's one thing. I think we talked about it with AI, artificial intelligence. Like, there's stories like Cha-Cha Real Smooth that are so well done, so amazing, but you think out of 1 billion, or what is it, 8 billion we're at now, people in the world, there's a few that could probably make that movie. Not as well done or anything, but, like, think about that type of movie.
Yeah.
Nobody's thinking about this shit.
No.
Even, there's movies about the multiverse. Marvel has movies. I watch all the Marvel movies. They have all the movies about the multiverse. This is totally different. Like, and also I would say, like, jumping was kind of confusing as well. Like, the way that it didn't have to be explained, but the fact that it wasn't explained on how that worked or anything, or we never found, because the movie wasn't about that, obviously. That was,
which I prefer.
I
prefer
get that,
they don't, like, dedicate 30 minutes into explaining why it works this way. Like, it just works this way, okay? Fucking trust us.
Yeah, trust.
And, like, just, like, it's not gonna matter. It's not gonna matter how it works. It just matters that it works, and, like, this is how she's getting all these like different personalities or.
No,
traits.
I get it, but, and I don't want to knock this movie, but I would be more interested because of the way I am. This is personal, I guess, bias or whatever. I would be more interested in watching the movie of the original. What's the name of the movie? The lead,
What are you talking about?
the main Michelle. Yeah, what's her name in the movie?
Evelyn.
Evelyn. I'd be more interested in watching Evelyn's movie with her daughter, the original. There's a story of why she went crazy or why she could see everything everywhere all at once. That story
Yeah.
of how she made her daughter that way.
But it's in different universes, though. There's no original story. It's just everything happening.
No, it's different. Sorry, not original story, but like the reason that her character is her character is because in one universe, Evelyn experimented on her daughter and allowed her to see everything everywhere all at once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't remember?
No.
Yeah, remember she made her. She was studying like the universe and like jumping and all that shit, and she like somehow kept doing that with her daughter. That at some point she broke her daughter basically, and that's what allowed her to see everything everywhere all at once, to be everywhere at one, to never experience one thing, just experience. And she was tired of that. That's why at the end she's like, I remember at the end she says, I never wanted to kill you. I just wanted to find one that would experience what I was experiencing, and so she did. Remember at the end she does experience everything all at the same time as well.
Yeah.
But I would be more interested in seeing that story.
Maybe you will.
I don't know why, but this is a great movie. But yeah. I think just because of the way I am.
Yeah.
I think that'd be cool to see.
Yeah, no.
And
to me, this is a story to tell because it had so much more emotion and it has so much more sacrifice, I guess.
Yeah.
Because she could have been over with in the first 30 minutes, right? If she would have just gotten rid of her daughter, she was right there, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't happen because she couldn't bring herself to do that, and so that to me is more of a emotional movie to watch of her trying to save the world while also saving her daughter, right? And so that to me is like the movie that I wanted to watch and the movie that we got. But yeah, no, to me there was no loopholes left, at least, nothing that I wanted to know that I didn't get,
Yeah, I get you.
Even that thing of you said you were talking about how she's able to be everywhere all at once and all that kind of stuff. And I love that part at the end where she was like, but, even though you can't do that, you still came out looking for me. Even though you could be anything you wanted to and you have every life possible, you still came back looking for your mom, And I was like, damn, it's true. You did do that while you do that,
No, it's true. And I like that aspect of it. They still try to, as much shit was going on, they still try to retain it to a story about a mom and a daughter, which is again,
and the father too.
And I think that's what 100%. And I think that's what probably the Oscars saw, going back to that. And I think that's what makes a great film. Regardless of what your fucking movie's about, personal relationships is what's gonna make your movie.
Yeah.
And
you gotta have something that's relatable.
Exactly. And this had that 100%.
Absolutely.
But
it's like Red Panda. Did you ever watch Red Panda?
I never watched Red Panda.
But you know what it's about, right?
No, I have no idea what it's about.
So Red Panda is a movie about this girl who's a teenager. She's turned into a teenager and she just turned into a red panda. And she couldn't, she didn't know how to control it and all that kind of stuff. And it was a movie about her period. It's a movie about how she got her first period and she didn't know how to control it or how to deal with it.
No, I had no idea.
Or how it changed the way that she viewed boys and all these other things.
I heard it's a very good movie.
It's a very, very good movie.
I never knew what it was about, but that makes sense.
And so
That's cool.
it's one of those things where this movie can be about fucking anything. You could write down any character, but it has to be relatable. At the end of the day, you have to relate it to something that people can relate to, right? Or Coco, right? Not everybody is gonna understand going to another world and experiencing the land of the dead and all that kind of stuff. But people are gonna empathize with somebody losing somebody and wanting to remember, their loved ones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that shit's gonna make you cry. And so things like that, even though you have the wildest story imaginable. You still have to bring something back to earth that is relatable, that is like that just like tugs at the heartstrings. And I feel like this movie did that, right?
I think it did too. I think it did it very well. But because of just of the nature of the movie or the way it's written, where they have to add all those things, not that it takes away from the personal relationship, but it kind of blurs it for you, because you're also thinking about all these other things and the bagel and like, oh, you know what I mean? It's throwing so much shit at you, so you're fighting as an audience member. I feel like you're fighting hard to hold on to that.
Yeah.
Relationship.
But I don't think you have to hold on to that because they'll bring you back to it.
No, I think it does. But like what I'm saying is like you forget about it and then it brings you back and then it's about something else and it's about this and that.
I think it does it beautifully. Like I don't think that's a fault. Like I think that's
No, I'm not saying it's a fault. I'm just saying because it's not traditional in that way, it's hard to love those characters, for example, as much as you would like some character from like Her or like Cha Cha Real Smooth, because the nature of the movie and having all this shit around it naturally takes you away from that at some point, regardless if the movie's trying to do that or not.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much shit around it, rather than it just be about them, right? And again, I think it's well done, and I think that's what the movie wanted to be. I'm not saying that, oh my God, and I'm not saying it's a bad movie because it had all those things. All I am saying is that just the nature of what it's in and what it is not going to be as strong as maybe another movie that is just about the characters. You know what I mean? Because your brain cannot focus, because it's not trying to make you focus on those things. It's just
no, it's not. It's a different type of movie.
It's a different type of movie.
It's not a movie about like solely. It's a fucking ride, right? Like
it's a ride.
If it was just,
it's a roller
coaster. There are movies like that, but like
what?
Like movies where there's just a mother and daughter having a split, and like one of them is gay, and you can't really. The other one's not accepting of it or not wanting to like share that with the world. There's movies like that all over the fucking place, right? But this one just like, it's not like other movies. It's not like that movie. Yeah. And so like, I think that difference of, it sacrifices you being able to solely focus on that.
No, but exactly.
It takes you on a ride.
No,
right?
100%.
It takes you on a completely different ride from any other movie that you've ever watched, right? And so like, that's what I really love about the movie. And remember when we talked about Bones and All? Mm-hmm. How we were talking about how like we commend it for like trying to be different and like trying to like blend these things that don't go together. Like to me, like I commend this movie for not only trying it, but doing it,
succeeding,
and like fucking executing it. Like it is well done through and through.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like, I don't want you to think that by me saying these things, I'm like, I wish I would have gotten that movie. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But it's like you said, it's a sacrifice that the movie made because their movie is not that. Yeah. They added that because that is the heart of the story. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's the rock. That's what keeps the story together. That's what keeps you there enough to be able to pay attention to all of this. Yeah. For the same reasons that when you watch action movies, you know, sometimes they're cool and stuff, but you never come back to them and you don't love them or whatever because their characters are not well written. The movie is, in the sense of like they have all this action, it's very entertaining, you know, but like their characters are not well developed, that you can't nominate them for Oscars, or you just like, their performance, or you don't remember people, you know, things like that happen. And so that's what I mean. Like they did very well in doing that, but it's a sacrifice that they made. You know, it's like, that's not our movie, and we understand what our movie is, and it's not that.
But I do think that they still made a good point of their relationships. I still think that they made you care about the characters. I don't think that they neglected it and just being like, okay, you're not gonna care about these characters, but you know, we're gonna make this awesome movie.
No, I think so too.
Because like you feel it, man. Like whenever like it was Evelyn. What was the dad's name? Do you remember? Raymond? No, it was Waymond, wasn't it?
I think it's Raymond, but I think he's pronounced it Waymond.
I think it's Waymond.
It's just Waymond? Hold on.
Waymond, and then the daughter is Joy.
Yeah.
But like...
Oh, it is just Waymond. Wow.
But Waymond, you know...
I thought it was Raymond and he just pronounced it. Okay.
No. But Waymond being like this super successful guy, and then just bringing it back to, you know... In another life, I would have loved just doing laundry in Texas with you.
God, I love that.
Oh my fucking god!
I do
shit
love that. But that
got me.
again, I would have loved to see. Well, not to see, but I don't know. That's one of my favorite parts. I
Yeah.
do love that part when he's like, in another life, I would have loved to just,
And I loved his character.
Yeah.
His character was just about kindness and then just like treating everything with like with
res-
optimism
yeah.
and like, you know, seeing the best side of things. And like that's how he's able to survive through everything, right? Either being poor or being rich, he survives
Yeah.
everything the same way. And so like I love his character, I love his optimism. I think he's just a fucking ray of sunshine in the entire movie.
Yeah, you do love characters like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in Drive My Car, you know, that guy, the dramaturg that we talked about,
Yeah.
you love that guy too, I think, right? Because he was just
The only person that I can like.
Yeah.
Everybody else is so sad. I don't like sad characters. Like, I don't know. Not that I don't like sad characters.
Well, you're also a very happy person, and not
Yeah.
not that I'm not happy. I think I am a happy. I think no. Like I
Totally
think
happy.
Yeah, I wouldn't categorize myself as a happy person, but I'm not like sad or depressed. Is what I'm trying to say.
But
Like,
you love seeing sad characters.
I love. Yeah, I do love that. I gravitate towards watching those stories. I don't know why. Maybe
I don't know why either.
Which is weird because, like, I'd say our childhoods, a part of me was always like, well, maybe because I've had such a happy life and, like, a good life, I like seeing that. But that has nothing to do because you've had the same life. You've had a
Yeah.
happy life.
But then again, I also like horror movies, right?
That is true.
And
yeah, you do.
I like disturbing things like that.
See, well, that's where we differ. Okay, well, see, that's just kind of the same thing. I like seeing people's struggles, which is also very horrific in a way. And you like seeing people actually go through some horrific shit.
Yeah.
And I don't. Like, I think to me it's different. Like, it's not cheap or anything, but internal struggles are for me better than seeing a physical struggle. You know.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
Yeah, but you do gravitate towards horror films, and that's why I gravitate towards like these like psychological. That's why I think it's a good thing that like psychological horror has come out kind of in the recent years because like we really.
Oh yeah, no,
gravitate
I
towards
don't.
those
I don't
films.
like slashers.
No, I know you don't like
I
slashers.
like psychological.
I know,
horror
but like
films.
Midsummer, it's not a slasher, but there's a lot of horrific shit in there that like
Yes,
shows
it's
you
very
like, oh,
gory.
yeah,
it's very
gory, see?
but it's not like that's not why I like the movie.
No,
I
I
like
know.
the movie because of everything else. I like the trip that she's on. I like the like everything that happens with that movie. It's fucking great. This is another movie we gotta watch. Hereditary, masterpiece. But
we do
but back
have
to
to watch
this
that.
movie. Like, what were we talking about before we got into happy characters?
Happy
So Wayman to me is just like something. It's like a guiding light throughout the movie, even though sometimes they don't follow it, right? So sometimes Evelyn won't follow his guidance of like just talk to people, just treat them with respect, just see the best side of things, and like she wouldn't see it until like
and doing taxes. That's what he says.
yeah.
Like I would have just loved to do laundry and taxes with you.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's nice.
It's so sad.
Yeah, it is
because
sad.
it's like you get like so focused on like
Well, that's the only universe where they truly have like success, like societal success, right?
yeah, but they don't have each other.
They don't have happiness.
No,
Is the thing.
and she wants to have them,
Yeah, she does.
but she doesn't. But he doesn't. Like,
Yeah.
he's
Well,
like,
he does, but he doesn't want to. But he wants true love. Like he wants, not to just do this and that. Like he wants to have an actual life and not be worried about her success. I know, dude. I'm just like, what?
This is
The whole
wild.
podcast, I'm like, doing this.
You know, can bring this curtain down.
I guess we could do it at the hour.
Yeah.
It'll be weird.
we
though.
get in there.
We could push through.
What's up?
We could push through because it'll
we
be
can push
weird.
through.
Yeah. But no, I thought it was a great movie. It's obviously a great movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing I can really say about it. It just, I guess maybe because like personal preference of like movies.
It's not your type of movie.
It's not my type of movie, and like not saying that it has to be my type of movie, but the way it did make me feel, like I think this is the best way to put it. Like it overwhelmed me with so much around it that I didn't have enough energy to invest in the relationship she had with her daughter.
Okay.
Because all my emotions and all my things were already taken out of me. That by the time I saw that stuff, I was like, I had nothing else to offer. I had nothing else to
and
like.
see, that's why
you
I
know?
love watching movies twice. That's why I like rewatching movies, because then like all those things that you miss, you can catch on, right? And like all those things that you like don't really understand, because at the beginning you see all these circles and you're like, whatever, you know, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares about it? I don't know why they're focusing on these circles so much. And then like you realize
The bagel.
why, but it's like halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
And so then like you realize that when she circles something, it means something. You know, it's not
Yeah.
just like circling just because emphasized. Yes, it's emphasized the first time you watch it, but then the second time you're like, oh look, circles. You know, it's all so stupid. Oh, it's circles.
I mean, it is, and like
but it
I can't even imagine them pitching the movie to somebody. It's like, and at the end, it's a bagel.
It's a big. It's
Like
an
it's like a
everything
dark
bagel.
hole, but like it's not a dark hole. It's a bagel,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? So like, it's kind of surprising that this movie got made. Like, it's so well done,
Mm-hmm.
and like that's not surprising about it. But I could see when you're reading the script, and you're a
like,
producer.
what happens?
And you're saying, what now? Excuse me?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, and then
Yeah.
they jump into a different universe, and then that person's like traits come into your body, and then now you could do like taekwondo or like a
Yeah.
wrestling. She was a wrestler, like the
Uh-huh.
IRS lady. And I'm just like, God. But I think that was it for me. Like, I think it took up so much time. Not that it took up time, but like it took out so much energy out of me that I didn't have enough energy to go around
Yeah.
to the characters at the end. You know,
I
and
still
I did.
think that I bonded with the characters. I don't think it took it. I don't think it.
Yeah,
I don't know
but
if I just wasn't overwhelmed enough.
yeah,
to,
I
like,
mean,
not care.
I was overwhelmed, and like I know because like you're just like you just said, that's why I like watching movies twice. It's like because it wasn't me like trying to catch everything. That's not what I was doing. I usually never do that in films, trying to catch everything. You usually catch more things than I do because you'll see directing stuff in here and there and blah blah blah. Like the circles thing, like I don't even think I really caught that like 100%. But like now thinking about like, oh yeah, because I do remember when I was watching it, I was like, oh, the circles, yeah, the bagels kind of, but not like I don't think I caught all of them as much as you
No,
did.
you see, you gotta like this. I think it's the third time that I watch it.
Yeah.
I watched it and I was just overwhelmed with how many, not overwhelmed, but like I was surprised with how many times
They had circles
put
in it?
things in circles.
I know, but that goes to what I'm saying. Like I wasn't overwhelmed because of all those things. It's just the nature of the movie is like everything that happens
Yeah.
so much. Even if I'm not paying attention to it, it's already throwing it at me.
Absolutely.
And so by the time I get to the ending of that movie, I don't have anything else to like really give because like everything has been taken out of me so early in the movie. And I think it goes back to what I'm saying, like what I said in the beginning about the extrovert introvert kind of thing. Like maybe that's why I gravitate towards fucking these sad movies that like are like has a lot of pauses.
Yeah, 'cause
they
they're
don't
slow.
they don't take the energy out of me until the
Driving
very
my car was
end.
3
You know,
hours.
okay, hold on. That's one movie I've ever had at 3 hours.
3 hours. I'm about to suggest a 3 hour movie, but like it's filled
Yeah.
with shit. You know.
Yeah, it is, and like I completely agree. But
Yeah.
but I think most of my movies have a lot of silence and a lot of emptiness in there.
They do.
You know, and they don't drain me. Like at the end, maybe they do because of the way things are. But like, but that makes so much sense why this movie does. Like it does everything from the very beginning. That by the time I get to the end of it, like I don't have anything else to give. Like,
But
because
do
it's
you see
already-
how like Evelyn could be, like, how her head can hurt from not only watching this movie but experiencing the movie?
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
I get that.
So
like,
like I feel like that is done. I think that's done intentionally.
no,
but,
I
like,
I
not-
agree. Like I'm not even saying that it's not done intentionally. I
Yeah.
think it's intentional. But the way your movie makes me feel is totally different from the way you're gonna feel. Totally the way somebody else is gonna feel.
What did we feel? Oh, with Killing of a Sacred Deer, right? Where like we felt disturbed and like
Yeah,
it
that
was,
movie. Yeah, that movie was so good at that too.
Yeah, and so like it made you feel like what the characters were kind of going through.
Exactly, but that's why like, but that was something that was more narrower. Does that make sense? In the sense of like, I think anybody that watches that movie feels disturbed from the very beginning because that's something so. What's the word I'm looking for? It's so recognizable. You know what I mean? And like, that's why like I bring the example of like real life, like 'cause that's like the only thing that comes to my head of like two different people, one extrovert, one introvert, and they go to a party. One's gonna feel drained versus the other one's gonna feel energized. And so this movie, to me, I felt drained.
Yeah.
And maybe you felt energized or refreshed that you watched it. Like, oh, it's exciting to watch because that's a different take. And I'm like, and that's cool. Like, I understand that they were trying to overwhelm you, but because they did that, I did feel drained at the end, and it had nothing. And I understand that it was something that they were again trying to do, but it was my drain's different from your drained or different from your experience of the
Yeah.
movie. So like regardless of what and
What do you call it when you get bored
when you feel
by a movie? Because like yeah, it's like for example, like with Drive My Car,
yeah.
that last 2 hours, which is saying a lot that there's a last 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I get you.
Like,
It's
was the opposite of drained.
uninterested, I guess. Well, it's not necessarily the opposite.
I was interested.
Well,
It
no,
was just moving so slow. and,
the
like,
the opposite of drained. I see what you're saying. I don't know what the opposite of drained would be. I guess the feeling of like wanting more, right?
I guess so.
Like you
Yeah.
you're just like, I just want to see what the next thing is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I want you to like turn the page already.
That makes sense though. That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense because in my relationship with Vanessa, she's more like, what's next? Like, give me the next thing. And I'm more patient. I just be like, it's going to give it to me when it feels like it's going to give it to me.
Yeah.
And like, not that you don't think that way, but, or think to the extreme of the way Vanessa thinks, but you're probably somewhere in between there. And that makes sense. So yeah, like you are interested and that makes total sense, but I never thought about it in that way. Like you're just like, maybe you're just waiting. It's like, okay, well, when's the next drive gonna happen? When's the next push of this movie gonna?
Yeah, because like this movie, everything everywhere all at once was 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
The entire way.
100%. Yeah.
And then like most movies are just like they're cruising at 50, they're cruising at 40. You know what I mean?
Well, not most movies, because I'd argue like
most
Hollywood
movies
movies
that we
are always
watch.
like, go. Not as much as this movie. This is different. But most movies are going 80 miles an hour. Like Hollywood movies are going 80 miles an hour. But again, I don't watch those movies because I just like.
Yeah. But like Tarantino movies, for example.
But there's spaces in Tarantino movies.
They're like long.
Yeah.
But they're jam fucking packed too.
Yeah, but there's also spaces in there. And it gives me time to like, and it's a very.
He stops by In and Out. You know what I mean? And gets to good things with it, and then gets back on the highway. Little
Exactly.
side roads.
And this movie, I feel like doesn't ever do that. Like, there's small moments, like when he says, "I would have loved," but it's so small. It doesn't give me enough time to like relax. To the next thing, like like already going again, and I'm just like, oh my god, like my brain is like on fire.
I loved it.
You
I love.
no,
that
you
way.
hey.
I loved it, and like I
to you.
think that I don't know. I think the movie did everything great. I really don't see
But
any.
did you think it
faults
did
within the movie.
everything great everywhere all at once?
Yes, I do. I do. Like I really don't have any complaints about the movie.
Yeah. I don't have a complaint about the movie either.
No complaints.
I don't have a complaint about the movie either. And like I know that's weird because I just said, but it's like I know what this movie is, and it was so that.
Yeah.
And like by me saying that I was drained by it, that's not a complaint. Like it's like I wish it didn't have that. No, like that was their movie, and that's what they wanted.
That was the purpose.
That was exactly that was the purpose, and I understand that was the purpose. But just because that was the purpose, I just feel like it drained me. But it's not a complaint on on me saying I wish it was less this. I don't wish it was less anything. That's just the way the movie made me feel about it.
Let's move on to ratings because I'm very curious about this.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait. Are we done talking about it though?
I mean,
is there anything else?
I feel like we'll talk about it more.
Okay. Let's move on
with
to
the
ratings.
We close the
the
blinds.
blinds.
Anyway,
Okay, here we
it's
go.
way too bright. But
Ratings.
ratings. Okay, so story. I give it a 5. And this is gonna be a common theme throughout this review. I'm gonna give it a 5.
I give it a 5. I give it a 5. I thought it was a well done story. I thought
It's a very unique story.
yeah, it's very unique. It's not muddy though, and like that's what I want to point out. Like this movie could get muddy really quickly, but it's so well done that it's not. Like things are very clear. Like the relationship of the daughter and the mother, and like the relationship of others. The only part I guess I would say is like it was a little confusing there, but that was on me more than it was on the movie because they did like roll the credits and then you're just like that timeline thing. I was like, okay, well, yeah, but it wasn't muddy. Like everything was like this is this, this is that. Like they made it very clear, like to not get confused.
Yeah.
And it was unique. It was its own thing. There's not a movie like this at all.
And you're gonna laugh at this, because you think I'm gonna go in a certain direction, but I'm not. This reminds me of Lost, because in Lost there are timeline switches like that.
Okay.
There are things that people complain about a lot that are directly. They think that a timeline is a certain way, when in reality, I don't want to ruin it because I want you to watch Lost.
I know, I have never
but like,
watched it.
They think that a timeline is a certain way, and that like nothing mattered in the show because of this certain timeline.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, this is just like an extra thing that's below the thing, and like you have to like really like like pay attention to it. So like it's not the first movie or show or whatever that have had timeline issues, that not issues but like timeline things that have gotten confusing, but and so like I relate to it in that sense, I guess, of like time hopping and all this other stuff, or what timeline are we on, can get confusing, but like
I am very into like the whole multiversal timeline thing. I used to read comics, and they have all that stuff. But also, like, I do watch the Marvel movies, and the Marvel movies are nothing but that. Like right now, it's like about the multiverse, and so everybody's jumping timelines. You're like trying to figure out what the fuck is this, what the fuck is that. So I am very like into that. But this was so different, and also because like Marvel does have like 50 bajillion movies to like tell the story, and can make one movie on that timeline or on their own timeline, and then like could jump to a different part like for a couple of minutes. You know what I mean? Because it's such a bigger thing. And this is different. It's kind of like they're not trying to make a series, and they're not trying to make multiple movies, right? They're trying to make one movie to 2 hours, right? And jam pack everything into that movie. So
it's wild.
It's crazy because it's just like, what the fuck? Like they hit like it's like trying to jam pack Marvel into one movie in a way, right?
Yeah. And that's my complaint about Marvel, that they can't do it.
I don't care that they can't. I love it.
I know. There's 94 movies that I have to watch.
There is, yeah. Well, there's only about maybe there may be at 40 now, but I don't know.
I was kidding by 94, but 40. Goddamn, that's a lot.
Yeah. It is a lot.
40 times 3.
I don't know how many movies there are.
How many hours are each movie? Like 2.5?
Like 2. The longest movie is, I think, Endgame.
That's like that's like 3.5.
I think it's 3. 3.5?
I think it's 3.5.
Or maybe 3.5.
I think to like put some time on my schedule to go watch it.
I think you're right. It may be 3.5. I don't remember.
But it's 2. That's almost 90 hours.
It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of hours to put into movie watching. But it could be done in a year. Like you could watch like one movie every week and then finish it by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Which is not crazy. It's not crazy.
Not crazy. You want to start another podcast?
Oh my God, I'd be so down if you wanted to. If you wanted to.
Just Marvel movies?
Just Marvel movies every week.
Chronologically?
Order. We could do that to make it different from the way it was released.
Just release date? What would we start with? Iron Man 1?
If we were to start with the movie, I think it'd be Captain Marvel chronologically. Because that was like in the 70s.
No. I'm talking about like release date.
Release date. Oh, yeah. We could do, yeah, 100%. We could do
release date would be the best?
Yeah. It'd be
so
the
like
best.
Iron Man 1 would be like the first one?
Yeah, I think it's Iron Man 1, and I think it's Hulk.
Would we do shows? Are the shows important?
They're all important. So like Loki is like 9 episodes or something like that. And it's important because that's
Flash part of it? No, Flash is DC.
No,
right?
Flash is DC.
How many shows are there?
Oh, there's a few now.
Damn.
Yeah. And some of them are not that good. Like Hawkeye is not the greatest, but it does kind of like set the story up for like Spider-Man, because Hawkeye's in like Spider-Man's kind of thing, and like those characters and stuff like that.
How about when a show comes up, you tell me what's important in the show? Like whenever a show hits chronologically, we just have like a different episode where we just like, okay, this is what happens in Hawkeye.
The thing is that like the way Marvel does things is not necessarily that it's crazy important to watch in this, but you'll be lost with characters. Like you just don't know who somebody is. Versus I had 9 episodes to meet this character and understand who this character is. All of a sudden he comes up in another movie in Captain Marvel 2 or in like Spider-Man 4, and then all of a sudden you're like, who's that? And you're just like, well, you should have watched Hawkeye, but because he got introduced in Hawkeye.
Okay, we'll think about it.
We'll think about it. Cool.
All right. So, but yeah. So multiverse stuff is like a thing nowadays.
Yeah, 100%. It's very and like that's one of the things that's like they made the multiverse their own thing.
Yeah.
Without having to care about anybody else. It's just like, because when I remember when I heard about it, it's like, oh, it's a movie about like the multiverse, and I was like, I was like, are they really trying to copy like kind of Marvel? Oh, they're not. No, this is
They're
its own
absolutely
thing. It's
not,
probably
no.
something that they thought about that had nothing to do with Marvel. Like Marvel didn't even.
What did you think about them have to do weird things, and those them trying to fight for that butt plug? They knew that doing that was
I
gonna
totally
give
forgot
them
about that.
abilities.
God, that was also very weird. Like not just the butt plug, but well, yes, the butt plug, but
Yeah.
like it was a trophy.
Yeah.
The IRS trophy. She's like,
Yeah.
you don't get those. What did he say? Like you
Yeah.
see a whole bunch of like 5 butt plugs. I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But it's just weird that they had to do something to be able to jump. So like, take a fucking gum from the bottom of the table, or like he chewed chapstick.
Chew chapstick, yeah.
And then one of them was
Get your
sticking.
finger. Oh my God,
Oh,
that.
cutting your finger. I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, God, that's so
Yeah.
bad. But I thought that was weird in general. But again, it goes with the movie and like just accepting that
The
it's
weirdness, yeah.
yeah, they just made it that way because it's their movie and they could do whatever the fuck they want with it. And then they got to the butt plug, and I was like, it was funny though. Like the fact that they kept jumping and like all that stuff, and nobody won it until that big security guy came in, and all of a sudden, just like, oh shit. Yeah. And it's funny to watch because they had like a lot of like a lot of things were shot in like the way like old kung fu movies were shot, like especially those fight scenes. And so it's shot like on a wide where you could see both of them and they're like this way, kind of video gamey,
like Street Fighter,
like Street Fighter and stuff like that. And you could see his butt plug like dangling from his ass, and you're just like, Jesus,
What a movie!
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Okay, so I'm gonna give it a 5.
I give it a 5 too.
Okay, so then we got Beauty.
I think that's a 5, man.
I think it's a 5.
The beautifulness is a 5. Like, I love the colors in there and like everything that the cinematography, like you say, with the circles, and obviously everything ties back to the bagel.
Yeah.
I think it's a 5. Like, there's no complaints on cinematography, like or the way the movie looks, like the beautifulness of the movie.
Yeah.
And again, just looking at it, it's a beautiful thing, but it's overwhelming, but it's okay. Like
What about sound?
Sorry, I do like before we get to sound. I do like when when she's like going to different universes and like you could see the lighting around her face, like it does this thing, and it goes into different colors and like it's different hers, and I thought that was very cool.
I saw the behind the scenes of that, and they used like 3 light tubes in a triangle. You just put it around her face, and the light tubes are like.
And they program it to do that. Yeah, that makes sense.
But you can still see the triangles in their eyes, because also Wayman did the same thing with the red. I think whenever she was falling back in love with him or whatever, you can see like the red thing, and you can also see like the red little triangle. So I like that they kept it on. Like I like that they kept it as part of like their highlight.
Yeah, they should have done. I mean, it would have made more sense to do a circle.
Yes, it would have.
Because of the bagels. And all that. Like they already had all that stuff rather than a triangle.
Yeah, that's true. Never mind. There's one flaw.
One flaw that they missed out on.
But
okay. They could, yeah. But sorry, sound.
Sound wasn't very.
I don't really remember the sound, to be honest.
I do. There's like the visuals are so much that you kind of like the sound is also part of it, right? And so like I know that the sound was great, right?
I know it was great, yeah, but I don't.
But it's not very memorable.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it like a 3.5.
I kind of want to give it a 2 because I just don't remember it, and I obviously watched the movie like not too long ago. So I know it was well done. So
I'm sure it was well done.
I'm sure it was well done.
The amount of work that went into like the visuals of it, like I'm sure that they also did the same thing and added like probably random sounds that you don't know. There was one sound whenever they were still in the IRS building at the beginning and they were fighting Katie, what's her name?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis. And they were fighting her. And like there was one part where like Wayman was like he was like yelling, and all you hear was like a very high pitch like like a girly scream. It was really funny. I had to like rewind it for Kim. It was really cool.
I don't know if I heard that.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. Shit, I gotta go soon.
We got 10 minutes.
Then what? What do we have left?
I'd say I haven't even given my rating. I'd say I'd say a 3, just because like I know it was probably really
Okay,
good. But I
I'm gonna
don't
say
really remember.
3.5.
Okay, okay, I'll say 3.
Okay,
And then balance.
got balance. Yeah,
Uh, 5 is a very well
yeah,
balanced movie.
it was very well balanced.
Yeah,
The directing was really good. The script writing was really good.
yeah, it was everything. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
and then
Rewatchability.
rewatchability.
Are you still trying to take yourself out of it?
Yeah, but even then, like I feel like it takes a little bit of the lure out because like it is kind of like what it's. It is kind of like trying to find out what the whole bagel thing is about and what the daughter thing is about. And even though
Really?
it is.
I didn't see it that way. I don't think that's part of like that wasn't a big, huge part of the journey. You know?
I think it is because you're trying to find, for me at least, you're just like, well, who is this person and why is she trying to fuck up her mom? You know, like why is she trying to come at her mom? And like once you find that out, I'm just like, okay, well, it's still rewatchable. It still has enough in there to be a rewatchable movie. But I don't have that thing in me where it's like, well, I wonder why she, you know, once I find out about the story, like, oh, that's why she hates her mom so much. Because
yeah, no. To me, it's more about the ride.
well, it's not necessarily that it's more about one thing or the other for me. It's just that that's one of the things that's in there, you know? Like there is a right in there, but there's also a mystery of why she's coming at her mom. Not that it's more about one thing or the other, but just the way what they put in their story is that it is also about that. And that because they take away a little bit out, because they have that and they do add that stuff of like, well, who would the kind of again the mystery of who, even in the beginning, like they don't really show you it's the daughter until like
No, they show it to you right away. That's one thing that I thought could have been done a little bit better. They could have hid who it was. But whenever they were talking about like there's this person named whatever, they were showing footage of her daughter, of Joy. They weren't hiding it. It got revealed to Evelyn whenever they had that fight scene with the security guards. But like to
I
us,
know,
we
but
already
like
knew who it was. We already knew it was her daughter.
but there was a moment where she came in and like she was like de espaldas. Like you could only see her back. And like you kind of could tell that's her daughter, but like it was like they were trying to hide it.
When?
I don't know, but it was in the beginning.
I don't remember. I remember because I remember watching it this time around. I was like, I wish they would have saved the reveal of the daughter until that fight scene where it's like, it was you. You're the one that they're talking about. But they didn't. They hadn't. They hadn't revealed it yet. I mean, they had revealed it already. And so like that's one note that I actually
I did see it. I don't know.
mentally
Maybe we're talking about different things. I don't necessarily remember the part you're talking about, but I do remember her like they were tracking her when she was walking. You could see her feet, and all of a sudden you see like her like body, and like they go all the way up to her head, and then you find like, oh, okay. And then I don't remember what part exactly that was, but it was towards the beginning.
Yeah,
and
wasn't
like not
it
that they
during the fight with the security guards?
they do
where the confetti explodes.
yeah, but before that they were trying to hide is what I'm saying. Like she had already been revealed before that, and you saw her. I know what you're talking about. She did get revealed earlier than later, if that makes sense. But they were still trying to hide it.
Yeah.
So there was just still that mystery of like who this person is.
Yeah.
And then you find out it's like, oh, it's the daughter. And then once you find out it's the daughter, you're just like, well, why is she trying to kill her? Like for me.
Yeah.
And like regardless of like if it was more about the relationship and the journey, yes, I do think it's more about that. They still added it and they still gave it that mystery to it, and they still gave it that story of like why she is trying to kill her mother. And that to me is again kind of like in a way a heist movie, kind of where it's just like it's trying to reveal to you or trying to keep you from knowing why until you find out. They're like, oh, okay, now the movie makes more sense and why she's trying to like kill her. And then at the end you do find out like, oh, she didn't want to kill her mother. She wants to make her mother feel what she felt. She wanted one person to feel what she felt, of feeling everything everywhere all at once. And then you're like, oh, okay. And again, it is more about the story, but it is in there. And so that takes away from me about it being, you know,
I get it. I don't know if that's like the payoff though. You know? Like I don't think like whenever you're watching this movie, like I don't know if you as an audience member are like going into it with
no, you're not going in with that intention.
No, but like even when you're watching it, like you're not like salivating and like, oh, wonder why she's doing this. You know?
I wasn't salivating at it, obviously. Like, I wasn't, like, to that extent.
Uh-huh.
Not that you would salivate on anything, but just
Yeah,
to go
but
with
like
the
what I'm
reference.
saying is like it was like to me the movie isn't the experience because of the story. I get that it's in there. I get that
Yeah.
that like once you find out, then like there's no mystery on that front. But like to me, it's more about like the right of everything else. You know.
I could not agree more.
And so, like, and you can see that with any movie, right? Like with Take This Waltz. Like, if you find out that she's gonna leave the other guy too, then the movie doesn't really matter, right? It's just like about the journey, about her, like going through these
I don't know if
emotional changes.
I mean, we did have a discussion. I don't know if she left him.
I think she left him. That's why she was alone.
I mean, she was alone, but
Oh no, you're right because then they had the cooking scene at the end, which was also at the beginning. But point is, she's not satisfied. She
no,
doesn't- she
she's
doesn't look
not. But like,
satisfied.
yeah, I see what you're saying. But that's the way they made it seem. At least the way it came across to me is that they did want to have that mystery in there, because they shot it that way, it felt that way. And I'm not saying it's a big part, and I'm not saying that's what their movie was about. That's not what I'm saying at all. All I am saying is that it
I'm
was
not
in
getting
there.
defensive, by the way. I'm just trying to like get your train of thought because like if it's like that's how every movie is. Like every movie has like an ending that like you know what happens, and so like with heist movies, yes, that's like a different beast altogether.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this is
But
to the
like
extent of a
I
heist
don't
movie.
think this is kind of like that. Like I think this is just like every other movie where like you have. I don't think there's a sense of mystery that like you carry throughout the entire movie.
There was for me.
Like I don't think there's like a sense of mystery of like who is this person or like why. Like I feel like it gets explained pretty early on why she's after her. Not like the explanation at the end of like, oh, let's you know, it's I want to feel what you're feeling, but like that I don't want to kill you. I don't want to kill you. What would it be without you?
We gotta do that movie. It's
It's fucking good. It's a good
It's
movie.
so good.
So yeah, so that to me, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah,
but
I get what
to
you're
me, it's
saying.
it's
I'm
that.
not too like I'm not saying that it was what the movie's about or anything like that. All I'm saying is that it was in there, and they for me it did come across as they were shooting it as they wanted to keep that mystery, that lure in there, even though they do explain it, and they did it
Yeah.
enough for me to like feel that way. So I feel like that was part of their movie.
Okay.
And that takes away from me a little bit. So
Okay.
rewatchability, I won't. I don't know. It feels to me a little bit like a 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 5. I think there's a lot of Easter eggs
Yeah.
that like they lay throughout the entire movie, and this is not me just trying to catch them like as somebody who's thinking of as a director, but
Yeah.
there's just a lot of things that get referenced throughout the movie that I think it's worth a rewatch.
That
for
makes
sure.
sense. That makes sense.
And I think that it's like the ride itself is just like it's awesome to watch over and over again. Like all the transitions, all the different worlds that they live in, all that kind of stuff. I think those are worth the rewatch. So yeah, it will be a 5 for me. And then we have
It's just something
It's
about
Just
it.
Something About It. To me, it's a 10. This is the first movie that I ever give a 10. No, second movie. Treasure Was Smooth.
Cha-Cha Russell was a
first
10.
one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give a 10 to this one. I love this movie. I think this movie
Yeah, I see.
had
Is it gonna replace anything on your wall?
maybe it may very well be in my wall now.
Do you like this
But-
more than Parasite?
That's a good question. I don't know. I love both movies very much.
Yeah.
I love Parasite. Damn, I love Parasite just because as a director, I love Parasite.
I know.
Like it is so good, and like the decisions they make. We gotta do Parasite.
We'll do Parasite and then
Yeah.
we'll revisit this
But
question.
okay, to me, Just Something About It is a 10. I don't know if it's
10.
better than Parasite or if Parasite's better.
Yeah,
than
yeah.
that.
We'll
I have no
revisit
idea.
this. I think a 3.
A 3. Okay.
I kind of want to give it 2, but I don't know.
Okay.
I think there is something about it, but I don't think there's a lot of room for maybe my sum. Again, my sum about it is different than yours, but I don't know. It doesn't seem there's not a lot of room for interpretation. It's very much their vision. This is what they wanted. This is their story. Cool. Like, I think it's great, but it's kind of like the menu. Remember when we gave the menu all like 5s and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, like I get to
Killing of a Sacred Deer.
It was Killing a Sacred. Oh, it was Killing a Sacred Deer.
We
Yeah,
got
yeah, yeah.
fives on everything. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
rewatchability on every single category.
Exactly.
And then just something about it was like, but there was not really much about it.
Yeah,
was
that's what
like,
it kind of feels like to me a little bit, kind of that way. Like there's not something much about it where I'm just like, oh my god, like this or that. It was just there was just so much to it. So I give it a 3.
Yeah, and to me, the reason is a 10. I think it's one of those movies like Taxi Driver, where it's the first of its kind, and I think it's gonna inspire a lot of movies.
You think so?
I think so. I think a lot of movies are gonna start to do stuff like,
because I feel like Parasite kind of inspired this movie. Thinking about it,
what?
In a way, like not obviously not multiverse or anything like that, but you know how Parasite had many different genres in it.
Yeah.
And it did a lot of things very well. And you're just like, you're kind of all over the place with that. And you're like, what? I feel like there's a little bit of that in this movie.
Okay, genre mixing. Yeah, maybe. But like I don't think it's like, I don't think it's the same genres either.
No, I don't think it's the same genres. But I mean, just because you feel inspiration from one movie doesn't mean it has to be the same genre.
No, but like, I mean, whatever you said reminded you of it, I thought it was like...
It reminded me because that movie has so much in it. Like, Parasite has a lot in it, and it does a lot of things very well. You know what I mean? And it made that movie their own, and you're just like, it didn't follow one structure of, like, filmmaking. It's just like, this is my structure, and this is what it is. And you're just like, what? And I also love the way that guy received his Oscar, where, like, people were talking, and he was like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And that was great. But I do feel like this movie could have been, they could have taken, not that they took complete inspiration from Parasite, no, that's not what I'm saying. But I do feel like that movie, when they saw it, they're just like, I think because we saw that movie, we could do our movie.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people are gonna do the same with this.
The same with this?
Yeah. And so like I think it's like a very unique movie. I think it's gonna be kind of like a pioneering movie for a lot of. It's gonna probably do something where people are gonna start taking chances on movies. You know, like more chances on crazy scripts.
Yeah.
And so like that might be a good thing. That might be a bad thing. So we'll see.
Where
that hits. But
where it goes. But okay.
Yeah.
Well,
next movie is gonna be Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver.
So watch it. It's on HBO. Who knows what we think?
Who knows? We don't even know yet.
We don't know yet. Good luck. Bye.